We can now speak to Southeast Asia correspondent Jonathan Head. And Jonathan, is this something that was expected? Why is this arrest happening now?
Well, the warrant was issued on the 7th of March, so the reasoning is the dating of the warrant. Now, the ICC has not publicised the warrant yet. Apparently, it won't routinely do that until it has a suspect in custody, and it is possible, given that Mr. Duterte was taken straight off that plane to an Air Force base, it's very possible they may fly him to The Hague very quickly. What was unexpected was that the government of the Philippines, headed by President Marcos, would move so decisively against such a high-profile and still very popular figure, a former president who, remember, was an ally of Mr. Marcos's until quite recently and still has a huge support base. In the early days of his administration, President Marcos had said he would not cooperate with the ICC investigation. And remember, the Philippines, under President Duterte, actually left the jurisdiction of the ICC, but the prosecutors there have been investigating alleged crimes against humanity, the killings of the war on drugs, from before the time that the Philippines left in 2019. That's why they say they have a mandate. But no one, I think, expected President Marcos to move so decisively against his former ally, now bitter political rival. And I think people perhaps weren't expecting the possibility that former President Duterte might well be flown immediately to The Hague. It's opened up a whole set of political and legal possibilities, both in terms of current political contests in the Philippines, this rivalry between these two big families, and in terms of bringing to account or bringing some kind of justice to those who died, or the families of those who died during the war on drugs.
And Jonathan, briefly, just remind us of those accusations he's faced over the years.
Well, he launched a war on drugs when he came to office in 2016. He was very much in the populist mould. He actually came to power before the first term of President Trump and was seen very much in that mould. But he threatened to kill large numbers of people. He said he was very willing to accept responsibility, and that's what happened. Huge numbers of people were gunned down in very controversial police operations. This war on drugs ran at full tilt for probably about 3 to 4 years before it started to fade off. And from the very beginning, there were accusations that this amounted to crimes against humanity. That's partly why President Duterte pulled the Philippines out of the jurisdiction of the ICC. But I think for all of the calls for justice for those who were killed and for some kind of accountability for the bloodshed, nobody expected a figure still as powerful and influential as former President Duterte actually to end up being arrested by his own government on a warrant from The Hague.
Jonathan, thank you. That's our Southeast Asia correspondent, Jonathan Head.